So today we'll continue our lecture from sanskritisation, westernization and modernization. These are the three topics today we'll be covering. Okay. In last class we spoke about little and great tradition, universalization and parochialization. These are the two topics we have covered from 5.3, and also how introduction to Indian civilization. It's just an introduction. We have to start from little and great tradition itself. Today we'll be doing, in this video lecture we'll be doing sanskritisation, westernization and modernization. Then later we'll do Panchayat Raj and social change, and media and social change. So this will complete 5.3. Okay. First let's start our video lecture with sanskritisation. Before starting sanskritisation, let me introduce the person behind sanskritisation. His name was M.N. Srinivas. M.N. Srinivas, one of the most influential Indian sociologists and social anthropologists. He is best known for introducing important concepts like sanskritisation, dominant caste. He was born in Mysore from Karnataka. In 1916 he was born. Social anthropologist. What were the key contributions of M.N. Srinivas? See, this is not there in the syllabus about introduction about M.N. Srinivas. Just to give you the idea, I am telling it. Sanskritisation, dominant caste, village cities in Rampura, village studies in Coorg, social change. These are the main contributions of M.N. Srinivas. Okay, let's jump into the. So let me tell what are the gist of the sanskritisation, modernization. First thing, we'll be covering definition. Okay, definition of sanskritisation. Then what are the features or characteristics, then example. We can give the case studies also, but it's not required because usually 10 mark a question is asked from this particular topic. So characteristics is sufficient. I don't feel case study is important. Okay, then we'll be covering modes of sanskritisation, then criticisms of sanskritisation. So these are the four main major topics of sanskritisation. Okay. Then as I said, the meaning of first let's jump into the definition of sanskritisation. The term sanskritisation was introduced. Do you need to write? If you tell, I'll write. Okay, I don't think I'll just write in a very faster manner. The term sanskritisation was introduced by Indian sociologist or social anthropologist, Professor M.N. Srinivas. This will be a one-liner introduction. The term sanskritisation refers to a process where people of lower caste collectively they adopt upper caste practices and beliefs as a primary step acquiring higher status. Thus, it indicates a process of cultural mobility taking place in the traditional social systems of India. See, what does this definition, if I want to explain in one manner, lower caste imitating the religious practices or their day-to-day life practices by an of upper caste. Example, a lower caste person imitating Brahmanical rituals. Okay, Brahmanical rituals. This is also. So, if I want to tell it in very simple manner, lower caste of Mysore adopted lifestyles of Lingayat, like quitting non-veg and all those rituals they used to follow. One more example, if I call, Smiths, the Smiths of Mysore call themselves Vishwakarma Brahmins and wear scared thread. Scared thread that is known as Jenu, and also follow Brahmin rituals. Now I guess everyone understood what is West sanskritisation. Let's see the slides. What the slides talk. So the term okay, let's start from definition. In 1962, M.N. Srinivas describes sanskritisation as follows. Sanskritisation is a process of mobility of lower caste by adopting vegetarian or totalism to move in the caste hierarchy in a one or two generation. In 1966, he redefined in his book Social Change in Modern India. Sanskritization is a process by which a lower caste or a tribe or other group change its customs, rituals, ideology, and way of life in the direction of higher, frequently twice born in caste. That means from one or two generation they change this. Okay, this is a definition. Let's move on to the next slide. The term sanskritization is, see what before M.N. Srinivasan called sanskritization as Brahminization, because when he studied Kurks and the parts of Mysore, people used to initially they were copying the rituals of Brahmins. So he said it is rituals Brahminization. But later, when he conducted a field studies of different villages in northern part of India, or the other villages studies, he got to know it people didn't lower caste didn't imitate only Brahmins. Example, people started to imitate the dominant caste, Kshatriyas. So it took out the term sanskritization was it took out the Brahminization term. This is not actual, it is sanskritization. People don't just imitate Brahmins but other dominant caste. So this is a explanation of this paragraph. Okay. Reference group of Sanskritization. As I said, reference group of Sanskritization are not always Brahmins. The process of imitating need not necessarily takes place on model of Brahmins. Okay, same thing. Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Jats, Sudras. Depends on the region who are dominant, who are in the authoritative position. People wanted to reach those kind of caste hierarchy, so they performed or imitated this. It is known as sanskritization. Sanskritization indicates the process of upward. Sanskritization indicates the process of upward mobility. This process, see, I'll give the lower caste in that generation. If he start imitating and adopting the practices of other religion, in that generation he won't be considered, because it should pass one or two generation. Then only will get to know. Okay, he has he has moved to the dominant caste. Okay, I want to give Mysore lower caste follows Lingayats, not Brahmins. Preference groups of lower caste imitate Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Jats, Shudras. Brahminization does not completely explain the process. M. N. Srinivas acknowledges. Sanskritization indicates not positional change. It indicates only positional change and mobility. Positional change for particular caste section does not lead to structural change. Structure of the caste system remains the same. See, when they move from one caste to another caste, the structure of caste in the Indian society doesn't change. Same, you will have upper caste, lower caste, all those things. Okay, doesn't change the structure of the caste. Not a it's not a new phenomenon, everyone says. Okay, why people are why people are doing this sanskritization or imitating the upper caste is economic betterment, not a precondition. Economic betterment is not necessary for sanskritization. A group may start acquiring political power which lead to economic development and sanskritization. Factors like power, education, leadership and desire to move are all relevant. Different cases show all different mix. See, some want economic reason, some want political reason. So if the thing common is that everyone wants to move upward, that's it. Not confirm. Sanskritization, imitation of higher caste customs and lifestyle to improve status. The main thing is that, see, lower caste people, they were seen as low, and people wanted that high respectful in the society. So to improve their status, people started following it. Okay, it leads to positional change, not structural change. Reference groups are not always Brahmins. As I said, it may be Jats in your area, it may be Reddis in Andhra Pradesh, Okkaligas in Karnataka, Nayars in Kerala, Patidas of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. Every state has their own dominant caste. It is universal process found across the caste and tribes in India. Okay, and now we have, let's see about criticisms of sanskritization. For a stall, sanskritization is a complex of concept or a class of concept. The term is misleading and its relationship with Sanskrit is extremely complicated. It is extremely complex and heterogeneous concept. It should be treated as a bundle of concept, not as a single concept. Okay, these are the criticisms of J.F. Stahl. What Indian anthropologist Yogendra Singh has said. According to Yogendra Singh, the so-called truth asserting concept failed to lead to a consistent theory of a cultural change. In relationship, this concept cannot be true or false. Okay, this Yogendra Singh, Sanskritization does not show any pan-Indian pattern as per Yogendra Singh. Okay, then one more important critic is Majumdar. Sanskritization is not universal process. In the study of Mohana village in Uttar Pradesh, he found a strong exception to the assumptions of M.N. Srinivas. The dominant higher caste, where Tilak, Vibhuti and Dhoti, followed its own customs. Nobody recognizing as an upper caste. In Sanskritization universal, if Sanskritization is universal, why the lower caste in this Mohana village are not imitating the upper caste? Is a question by uh, DM Majumdar. Okay. See, Sanskrit, Yogendra Singh also says Sanskritization failed to account for many aspects of cultural change in the past and the present. It cannot explain the non Sanskritic tradition. Okay, these are the critics of Sanskritization. That's it. Same thing, same the slides have been repeated. I've posted 2 3 times. Major takeaway. Okay, if you want to look at this major takeaway, I don't think a detailed explanation is required. Okay. One second. Okay, let's see about models of Sanskritization. First is Brahmanical model. Okay, then Kshatriya model, Shudra model, Vaishya model. As name indicates, what is Brahmanical model means people imitating the Brahmins. Examples like Lingaites of Karnataka, as I said, Nadas of Tamil Nadu, Yadavas in many regions adopt Brahmanical rituals. What are the characteristics? Brahminical rituals, adaptation of ceremonies of Brahmins, sacrifices, puja chanting, mantras, following vegetarian. Example in Amma Kodavas of Kurk, they left complete meat and non-veg eating because they started to follow Brahmanical rituals. They started to worship gods of Sanskrit gods. Usually, Kurk people they worship more of a kind of tribal gods. You don't find they are worshipping gods. Okay, in generalized India, but they started to worship Ganesha festival, Lakshmi festival. All this were the imitation of Sanskritization. Giving up the meat, alcohol, and other non-veg. Emphasis on purity and pollution. Okay, what is Kshatriya model? See, Kshatriya model means imitating the Kshatriyas. That's it. As the name indicates, Rajputs of Rajasthan and other regions claim Kshatriya descents. Yadavas, Kurmis, Jati, Nona claim Kshatriya status. Means the lower caste they start imitating Yadavas and Kurmis. The Marathas of Maharashtra claimed as Kshatriya origins. Okay, once they came into power, they started to tell we are from the Kshatriya clan, claiming of Kshatriya origin or lineage. Emphasis is on martial qualities like bravery, honoring, adaptation of symbols of Kshatriyas like sword, turban, etc. Even the Gotra people start also imitating the Gotra also. Emphasis on political power. Okay. Then, if you look at Shudra model, Yadavas of areas of North India, traditionally cattle herders, they adopted agriculture. See, Yadavas are usually cattle herders. They adopted agriculture and land ownership, education, community organization. Kurmis, even if you can give Kurmis, Jats, Marathas, this model, this is Shudra model. Then what is Vaishya models? The Banyas, many small trading communities Agarwals, Maheshwaris, Oswalas adopted the concept of Vaishya custom to improve their status. Okay, this is not a good example. Patidas of Rajas of Gujarat. Okay, same. Chettias of Tamil Nadu, money lending, trade. They adopted the Vaishya because the status started to improve. In order to improve of the status, they started to adopt these models. Okay, there's nothing wrong, it's a universal process. That's it. So we have completed what is Sanskritization. What we have definition, if they ask right definition, then one second. Okay, definition. then models, examples, write 2 or 3 features, then uh, criticism. That's it. Now we have completed sanskritization successfully. Let's see about what is westernization according to you. Okay, adopting western features like your complete outfits, wear your grandfathers wear the same clothes you are wearing now. You wear a pants, jeans, linen, denim. Okay, where did you copy all those things from? Where you got all those things? Even westernization is a concept introduced by M.N. Srinivas. Okay, the change brought about in Indian society and culture as a result of 150 years of British rule. See what British influence of 150 years is westernization. They started to change our cultural behavior, not completely, but English. Everyone speaks English. Dress, okay, and okay. See, there are different layers of westernization. One in form of technology, institution, ideology, and values. Wider plan for westernization includes scientific approach of materialism, empirical approach, individualism, liberalism approach, rationalism, spirituality, humanism towards various problems of society. See, these are the main core concept. English education brought all these things. Humanism, liberalism, individualism, all these are the fruits of English education. British created English education in order to make everyone or to help in order to make it, not everyone, in order to get clerks or a low job profile. They bought Western education, but Indians use those things because individualism, liberalism, rationalism, humanitarianism, these are the core concepts which during our freedom struggle. So we got influenced by British education, and we started to ask them the same questions. Okay, based on scientific approach, rationalism, individualism, liberalism, equality, byproduct. Okay, M.N. Srinivas tried to address the limitation of sanskritisation. See, in order to address the limitations of sanskritization, he brought a concept known as westernization. It is more inclusive, covering all varnas and jatis. Varnas or caste. It takes into account of non-Hindu groups such as Parsis, Anglo-Indians. It covers better aspects of social change as well as psychological, economic, political aspects. In westernization, we couldn't explain what exactly happening in why people are changing in economic or political way. Okay, as as such a manner, political we can extent we can tell, but it didn't tell why people exact reason. It not only focused on traditional concept but also changes in modern India. By westernization, why westernization? You have to question. It is more inclusive, covering all jati and varna. It takes account of non-Hindus. Same thing. What it has mentioned. Same thing is it's there. Okay. Let's start. Institution. Existing institutions are altered. Institutions which are created British rule. Institution when created British rule. MNS SC Dubey studied new institution, civil service, English education institution. These institutions had given rise to British middle class. Before independence or in our freedom struggle, we got a new class. They were only poor or rich. But Western education introduced a concept called middle class. These middle class are the people who led the freedom struggle in a very scientific manner. Okay, although there's a mass movement, but I'm telling the thinkers, the modern India thinkers, they are all the middle class. They came from the middle class. people started to question why, what. This is a gift of Western English education. Secular dominant caste. Bearing, sorry, banning sati, bearing it's there. Banning sati, undoubtedly, untouchability and child marriage influence were studied in the villages of Lucknow, states of my Sore and Core, okay, Sore and Pune. MNS studied the impact of Western education, final education, and see, MNS studied what are the influence of all this banning sati. See, why banning sati, untouchability, child marriage. People also, many of the thinkers of modern India, they supported this. British banning sati, untouchability, all these are influence of westernization. Not westernization, Western education. And technology, result of modernization, improvement in agriculture, improved transportation, communication, emergence of new classes, buyers and communicators, emergence of British in the changes of group. Example, the Shudras of British, the groups in few regions, they became dominant group. See, Shudras became dominant because of all this modernization. Similar westernization, industrialization gave strains to a new class called middle class. Okay. See, you can read it. Scientific approach, empirical, individual, rationalism, all those same thing, it's repeated. As a result of modernization and improvement agriculture, improved transportation, and emergence of new class bias, see, same thing, it's repeated. The same slide which I have said, that's it. This is the definition. What is definition? Who proposed it? What are the features of it? That's it. Ideologies. The ideology of British studied and appointed MNS and egalitarianism, humanitarianism. Same thing. What I said, non-wage restriction. People started to question why, what. S.C. Dubey, in his study of Sharmanjampur village, found Brahmins and other ritual superior classes. Uh, See, Brahmins and other ritual classes, they started to exchange fruit because of westernization. What S.C. Dubey has noticed in this village, Sharam Jampur. Dubey observed change in residential patterns of village. He studied the influence of westernization of village and he studied the Hindu Muslims group. The relationship between Hindu and Muslims group, the Gould opinion that westernization reduced the hold of caste system, other secular aspects of dominant caste. See, people started to behave like in humans. That's it. He's telling S.E. Dubey and Harold Gold. They started to come out of the caste and casteism. Now also many of, see, I would give as an example, I have a very good friends. I don't see them as a lower caste or anything. We are very close friends. We go out, we share our food, we share our stories. But when it comes to our parents, they don't mingle with the lower caste people. They see in a different way. I used to scold them very badly. Okay, why I'm like this and why my parents are like this? Because of I'm educated. I know what is wrong, what are right. But in case of our parents, in my parents, both are uneducated. So, Western education, these are the aspects what Western education has brought. These are the criticism. It is only focusing on cultural basis, not structural basis. Limited scope, ethical neutrality critic. According to M.N. Srinivas, he claimed that is ethically neutral, but critics argue that this is not completely neutral. Certain values like egalitarianism, democracy, humanism, rationalism are considered to be desirable. Okay, these are the very good aspect of Western education or westernization. But discrimination, segregation, exploitation, racism, are they very good influence? So it is not neutrally. There are positive sets of westernization and there are negative also, what the critics are arguing. Therefore westernization cannot say that westernization is ethically neutral. Yugender Singh criticism, MN Srinivas equated westernization with British influence. Okay, invention was only talks about British influence, that's it. But Yogenes reject it all and tells it is a narrow, because we influence because of Portuguese also, Denmark, Persians, USSR. Okay, I see many of people are getting influence of Che Guevara, Stalin of Russia. So it's very narrow to tell we got only influenced by British. So these are the concepts, you can just read it, I don't think it's more important. Impact, this is very important, I feel UPSC might ask, till now they have not asked what are the impact of westernization on sanskritization. According to Srinivas, does not retard sanskritization. Both sanskritization and westernization, they both go simultaneously. Indirectly, in some cases, induced westernization than excavated the process of sanskritization. So introduction of westernization, concept of westernization, it gave more rise to sanskritization, is what MN Srinivas is telling. Expanding means of communication gives help to the pilgrimage, communal exchange, religious propaganda. Upper caste has taken up the westernization in order to maintain social distance with the lower caste, which is no longer possible under the old order. Harold Gold comments that Brahmins and Rajputs move out of the caste system in order to maintain status in an Indian society. Case study, MNS Srinivas studies in Rampura village, untouchable getting Sanskritization with the help of Western democracy. Among the incourts of Bihar, UP, westernization is achieved. Among the local westernization in courts of Bihar and UP, westernization are when the people started imitating the dominant caste because of westernization. It's what it is telling. Okay, Harold Gold, the Neonists, as they change their occupation through land grants, and they assisted the dominant side in the caste hierarchy. See, they were lower caste due to land grants and all those things. They got more land and they became the dominant caste. It is what Harold Gold is telling, and people started to, the lower caste again started to imitate them. Okay. Example, similarity when Chamas, they changed their status through Western education and migration. Through Westernization, people also see, in a nutshell, if you want to tell, Westernization is like catalyst which gave more rise for the sanskritization. That's it. The summary is in one word, if you want to tell, this is a summary. So let's move to today's last topic, which is modernization. Meaning, what is the meaning? Process of transforming from one traditional society to modern society brings change. See, this is a very general topic, but you have to answer it in terms of what a anthropologists or sociologists argue it. If you tell what is modernization in a very even known definition, it's very easy to define what is modernization. What is modernization? Your village, your grandfather in village using cell phone is modernization. But you have to answer. If you write like that, you won't get that much of marks. Yes, you'll get the marks, but you have to write in an anthropology perspective. Example, what authors D.M. Majumdar, Daniel Lesner, Yogendra Singh said, what are the village studies they did and what they observed, is that modernization. You have to give it. Modernization is a process through which a society adopts modern values, institutions, technologies, ways of life. Okay. Modernization is a process of planned social and cultural change. See, this is a definition, general definition. But what did D.M. Majumdar said? Modernization is a process of planned social and cultural change. This is a definition what UPSC expects. Important features: adaptation of science and technology, rational thinking, modern education, development oriented institution, social program. Daniel Lezer consider major theories of modernization: urbanization, literary, mass media, political participation, empathy. India can be modernization while retaining its traditional traditions, and mobility can coexist. Okay, example: I go to temple. Modernization doesn't mean that I should stop performing all my rituals. Yes, I'm modern in terms of before I used to read Bhagavad Gita in book. Now I use my iPad to read. This is see I traditionally haven't shifted anything, but I'm using the modern gadgets. Okay, universal process can occur without copying the West. There's a different what is a different if I want to tell what is the difference between modernization, westernization. Modernization, universal process, influence of Western culture, can occur without copying the West. Yes, you can use phone. It doesn't mean that I'm copying Western culture. Linked to British rule in India, mainly brings cultural change based on values like rationality, science, and progress. Okay, that's it. This is very general. This is a very general topic. You can read it. Features of modernization: rational thinking and scientific, industrialization, urbanization, secularization, education, social mobility, democratic value, mass, all those things. Reason, need, why do you modernize? You can give a general answer: need for better living, population growth, advance in science and technology, economic development, education and literacy, government policies and planning, mass media and influence of mass media. Example: people start comparing. My friend has posted something in my Instagram, even I have to imitate like that. Okay, in a lighter example. Okay, these are the, you can read it once. Okay, I think because I'm not explaining, because it's very simple topic. Okay, you can comment if you didn't understand anything. Okay, what are the merits, demerits? hmm. Then even this is impact of impact of modernization on sanskritisation. Even this is not in a syllabus, but out of curiosity I've given it. Okay, UPSC, there's a chances UPSC might ask. I don't know if they are going for a difficult level. So once go through it, that's it. Hmm? Pause the video and go through everything. It's visible, I guess, right? That's it. In next class we'll be covering impact of panchayat raj and social change, media and social change, two topics. Hardly it will take 10 minutes. So 5.3 is completed. Next we will be covering from 3.1 syllabus, that is Purushartha, Varnashrama, Runa, Karma, and caste mobility, dominant caste. 3.2 we will be studying about caste versus jati. Then different theories of how the caste originated, origin theory of caste. That's it, I guess. Caste, future of caste, judgment system, tribe caste continuum, skate complex, and nature complex. We'll be studying in 3.3. Then 3.4 is about impact of Jainism and Buddhism on Hindu society. So that's it. I'm ending my lecture. Thank you.